classes to hang at the beach and shop. I may have a great tan and awesome bargain hunting skills, but somehow I don't think those will count for much here. So I suppose that's all. Any questions? Professor Elliot looks at us expectantly. I had plenty. What the hell am I doing here, for a start? And why didn't I just go volunteer in Guatemala like my mom suggested? I'd been so focused on getting out of California, I hadn't really thought about what would come next. I have one. The sporty blonde girl beside me raises her hand a little. Will we be starting with power theory or basic ideological distinctions? I blink. I thought I'd leave that up to you. Everyone? They all pitch in with enthusiastic suggestions while I smooth down my denim skirt, which is officially 3 inches shorter than anything my classmates probably own, and wish for the 28th time since my flight landed that I could take it all back. Not the leaving the States part, of course. That was a given. I mean, Christmas in L.A. was bad enough, with Mom and the stepdad alternating their silent treatment with plenty of "we're so disappointed in you" lectures. But when I got back to school, the gossip was worse than ever. So what could I do? I didn't just want to drop out of college. I may have chosen keg parties over studying and put more thought into first date outfits than any of my papers, but I am no quitter. And more than that, I couldn't stand the symbolism. If I dropped out, it would look like it really had been all my fault. Ever since Tubgate, I'd been walking around with a smile on my face, pretending I was cool with what they were saying. The whispers, the tabloid lies. Dropping out altogether would be like admitting I felt dirty and ashamed, and there was no freaking way I would give them all that satisfaction. So even though the semester had already started, I begged the exchange program, calling that stuck-up administrator every day until she finally broke down and told me that they'd had a mix-up with some girl at Oxford who still needed a spot. And although I didn't meet their oh-so-high Ivy League grade requirements, she could let me go if it was a straight swap. My classes for hers, my roommate for her dorm. School hadn't even started back over there, so I wouldn't miss a day. Nearly 3 whole months in England. Perfect. But now I'm stuck in a room full of people who were probably high school valedictorians instead of spirit squad captains. I'm struggling to even follow the intro talk, let alone the classes themselves, and I have to ask myself, is this really so much better? By the time our not-so-welcoming talk is over, I've made a mental note to buy A Beginner's Guide to Political Theory. According to Elliot, I have 3 days to prepare my first paper, which will then be offered up to my classmates for discussion. 3 days. National Geographic shots of feeding piranhas flood my mind, and I add yet another note to my schedule. Find out where the library is. Somehow, I don't think my usual tactic of cribbing from Wikipedia and the fruits of Google will cut it with this crowd. Pulling on my fur-trimmed parka, I followed the other students out onto the icy main quad. It turns out that Oxford University is a collection of a couple of dozen separate colleges scattered across the city. I'll be living and studying in Raleigh College, a group of sandstone buildings set back from the riverbank. I walked around the campus yesterday, and this place is totally gorgeous. Dorms, dining hall, and an old chapel are arranged around these tiny cobbled courtyards, and there are neat lawns and gardens all around. It's pretty, for sure, but in this weather, I can't help wishing they'd added heating to the 16th century stone cloisters. Even my favorite Uggs can't keep me warm in this. Speaking of which, the way my classmates are treating me is giving the weather competition in the sub-zero stakes. Snatches of their conversation drift back to me in the cold wind, but nobody so much as acknowledges my existence. "Coming to hall later?" one of the boys asks, pushing back his floppy dark hair. "No, I've got to revise for my collection," a brunette girl answers, her hair fixed in this weird semi-backcombed ponytail. I'd find it easier to understand if they were speaking Spanish, thanks to my core language requirement and 4 years of high school me llamoing, but right now I'm clueless. "I'm thinking bin bags for the BUP on Friday," the athletic blonde girl adds. Okay, so I'm being tactful here. By athletic, what I really mean is butch. Cropped hair, baggy sportswear, and if that doesn't paint a clear enough picture for you, she has a rainbow badge on her bulky backpack. Hey, I'm not